Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Wake Up in the Word. You probably are like, wait, hold on a second. It's not 6:30 in the morning. It's not. You're right. It's not 6:30 in the morning. It is just a little bit later than that here in the Central Time Zone, and it's 8:15 in the Pacific Time Zone, which is where our three guests are dialing in from. And we're just so excited because one of the things that we try to do as a community, as a faith family here and Wake Up in the Word, is look for ways that we can serve and we can give. And we know that God has blessed us with many talents and with many traits that we can bless others with. But there are also times that He wants us to give not just our talents and our times, but also some of the treasures that He's blessed us with. And always remembering that every single thing we have is God has given us. And all He asks for us to do is when He places it upon our heart to give to other people, He just wants us to be obedient to that. And we are so excited because one of the incredible things that Karina has blessed us with is this servant heart in making these connections. So I'm going to just really turn it over to Karina to have her introduce these two beautiful women, Mariah and Mary. And Mary has been on the show before with us. And Mariah is a new, beautiful soul that we are welcoming into our family. And so, Karina, just take it away.
Well, thank you so much, Jens, for hosting this today. As you all have remembered from the August 18th podcast, so if you missed that with Mary, go back and check it out. That's what's so wonderful about Wake Up in the Word. You know, there's some that just really speak to your heart, and you can always watch it on the replay on Facebook or YouTube. But why we're here today is because Gems Uncovered has a great opportunity. It's called Long Beach Gives. We're in Long Beach, California, Southern California. And for many, they don't realize this, but California is number one state, which isn't something we want to be number one in for sex trafficking and sex exploitation. Texas and I believe Florida, are number 2 and 3. Today I'll let Mary and Mariah speak to what the need is, but it's really an opportunity for us to do something on a local level to help women that are leaving the life and needing the necessary tools to expand in their life and just be successful. And this is all God driven, and I'm going to let the ladies speak to that testimony because sometimes we feel overwhelmed in life. What can we do? What can we do that's too big? No, it's not. God is bigger than all our problems. God, I just have chills saying that. God is here for us, and assembling the four of us here this morning is nothing other than God orchestrating it. So I'm just going to turn it over to our beautiful guests here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jens and Karina, for having us. We're just thrilled, with this opportunity that God has placed, in this moment in time. And like you said, today is the Long Beach Gives. It's a 24-hour giving opportunity for individuals to learn about the organizations within Long Beach and what they do. For us, Gems Uncovered was selected again this year to participate, and we find that to be such an amazing opportunity that we're recognized to do that again. And so this year, our goal is to raise $5,000 to purchase 20 iPads for our graduates. And these are young ladies that are in our program who have left the life and on their way to reaching their own goals and dreams. And to provide them with technology today, with devices that are going to help move them forward in reaching those goals. Currently, when they attend our class in Zoom, they're using their phones. So their screens are not that large. And so if they're, in classes, furthering their education, that screen is really small for them to be able to study, to do their documents, homework and such. So let's equip them with something that is going to really help. Be a part of, you may never meet the person that gets the iPad that you so graciously, put, your hard-earned money towards. but knowing that I believe God will show you when it comes time, for heaven, that you're going to say, this is the person that devoted your time and talents and treasures to. So
Yeah.
that's what this.
I love that. And, we are so blessed to be able to have Mariah here with us. And like you were saying, Mary, I mean, there's nothing better than personal stories and personal experiences, because that allows us to connect even on a deeper level. So, Mariah, we would love to have you share from your heart just what Jim's uncovered, and Mary, and everything this has done and meant for you, and just a little bit of your background.
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Mariah. I am the lead advocate and survivor mentor with Gems Uncovered. I've known Mary since I was a teenager. I, if it wasn't for, her calling and what God had placed on her heart, I truly believe I wouldn't be doing what I'm passionate for. I didn't even know where I would be in the world, honestly. And I started off, with Gems. My family, my mom was the one who was with Mary, and Mary taught my mom what it looked like for trafficking and helped her put through these trainings. And unfortunately, my mom went into a coma, and I ended up being preyed upon and trafficked. And it took me a journey to get back home. But when I made it back home, it took me 3 years to admit to anyone what I had went through. Falling for a boy and posting an ad to look for a place to rent, and then to being kidnapped and then trafficked across state lines, and fighting my way back home. I just was like, this just happened to me. That was just my luck, dumb, young, stupid, preyed upon when I was 17. So obviously I didn't have any, grounds of actually knowing what becoming an adult looks like, and who to trust and who not to trust. At that age, you're very young and gullible. And so when I came home, I kind of just felt like, okay, I got myself into the mess. I'm back, and that's it. And I was going to church every Sunday. I went back into my normal routine. Back to church. Everyone's like, where have you been? I'm like, I'm here. That's it. Let's go move forward. Hallelujah. And just kept moving forward and moving forward. And every Sunday, Mary would tap on my shoulder and say, all the glory be to God, Mariah, whenever you're ready. And I would be like, all the glory be to God, Mary. Keep it pushing. Nothing happened. But because of my mom, when I came back, she wasn't in a coma anymore. Prior to me even being sold across state lines, she had started her healing journey, but she wasn't walking. She was off life support. So she was, aware. And she was just telling Mary, I think something happened to her. Something's wrong. Something happened. And, giving the signs of a trafficking victim, which the sudden disappearance, the no phone, so many things. I came back. I was taught how to walk. I was taught how to talk, how to sit down, who to talk to keep my eyes lowered and my head lowered. And you're taught and trained these things. And when you're taught and trained these things and you're in survival mode, it becomes just something of the norm. So when I got back home, I had to unlearn that. And those are the things that she would be noticing. And so I ended up meeting my husband, and about a year we got married, and my life, I tried to live that normal life. My husband's not from here, and he was here on a student visa, and unfortunately, during us trying to get married, he couldn't work anymore. So everything started crashing down. So it was up to me to start working full time. And I got into a caregiving position. I was working, I want to say 16 to 19-hour shifts, 6 days a week. I had gotten pregnant. I had taken some time off because I ended up getting really sick with hyperemesis, and was just lived in the hospital. When I got done being pregnant and everything, we still had all the financial burden that was on us. And so I went back to the routine of working, and I would just think to myself, God, like, what do you want from me? I'm trying my hardest and I just keep hitting all these roadblocks. What is it that you want from me? I came home, I'm back at church. I got married, I had a child, I'm working, I'm trying to live this normal life that society tells us and deems upon us that we're supposed to do. I don't know what else you want from me. I feel like I'm breaking. And I had gotten to this point where I'd gotten a really bad argument with the person's son who I was taking care of, because I did not like the way he was treating his mom. And I felt that it was my right to advocate for her. And so we had gotten into a really, really harsh fight, and I ended up leaving. And I was driving down, I believe it was Orange. I was driving down and it was raining and it turned into construction. Orange is already a street that goes from a 2-street to a 1-lane, back to a 2, back to a 1. And there was construction going on. I was like, I just want to get home. I just want to get home. My son, I think he was like 6 weeks old at the time. Like, I just want to see him. I'm tired. And I ended up saying, okay, maybe if I make a right and then a left, I'll get around all this traffic and then I can go back out. And so I made a right and then I made a left and I turned onto the street and I was like, oh my God, I'm basically at a dead end. I either have to go back out into the traffic, or I have to go down the street and turn left and back into the traffic. Like, there was nothing that I could do. And so I just had a breakdown. I was crying. I was like, God, what do you want? What do you want? I don't know. And so I heard in my head, I heard him say, pull over. So I pulled over and I was just like, okay, take a deep breath. I'm trying. This is all I can tell you is I'm trying. And he said, well, look up. So I looked up. I still get emotional. I looked up and there's this huge sign and it said, all the glory be to God. And I could hear Mary's voice in my head. It's like, all the glory be to God, Mariah, whenever you're ready. And I just broke down crying. And so I told her, oh, and this is like 10 years ago. I'm still emotional over it. And I called her immediately and was like, I'm sorry for being disobedient. And she's like, okay, where are you? Are you okay? Like, are you safe? That was her number one concern, was like, are you safe? And I said, yeah, I'm safe. I'm pulled over and I'm kind of lost. And I'm on the street and this huge sign just said, all the glory be to God. And all I can hear is you. And she said, Mariah, what street are you on? So I told her the street and she said, Mariah, you're in front of our drop-in center. And I had no idea. And, and it's crazy because my mom, was training with Mary White. My sister, her first project for school was the interior and structural design of Gems Uncovered for the drop-in center. My brother, my stepdad happened to be the person who were helping like build the walls in there. And then I get trafficked. And so it was like, it all came back to this point. And now I'm committed with them. And it took me a while to be confident in who I am and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And it's so important for these girls to have these resources, because when I got out of life, I know it wasn't my fault, but that is like beaten into you when you're in the life, because for the trafficker, for you, it's a slap on the wrist. And for the trafficker, it's put away for life. And so we're like, it's beaten into us that you're doing this. This is your fault, and I feel like, I say this all the time, I feel like God took me underwater and showed me everything, because I had watched girls get beat around me because I sat up straighter. I walked with certain way. I didn't make eye contact with people who I weren't supposed to make eye contact with. I really stayed, as the term is, in pocket as deep as I could, because I knew when I got sold across state lines, I knew at this point it was a game and I had to figure out how to how to get out of this game. There's only one way to get out. You don't win the game, you end the game. And so when I came home, it's like that stigma. So I didn't ask for help for anything. Drowning in finances, sick. I was so sick from my pregnancy. I was on 25 pills a day. I still couldn't keep that down. They were telling me either it's going to be you at one point, it's going to be you or the kid. So you have to have that written out. And being in the part where I'm actually able to see these girls and say, hey, we have resources. Hey, are you need help with rent? Like, I can help you. We can get you, a resource that can get you 1 to 2 months. Like, we want to make sure that they're not in the mindset of they're so down on their luck. They're not just one leg down. They're a whole 2 legs down, and trying to give them that foundation to say, hey, go back and do what society tells you to do. You need a career, so go back to school, but figure out how to work full time, also paying all your bills and taking care of your kid by yourself, and those are the hard things. So it's important that what we do, people understand, like, this isn't just for looks. This is someone's life and their livelihood and their children's livelihood. Some of our alumni, they brought in their family members to come into GEMS because they seen how good that they were doing. Their family wanted to help and wanted out of the life. And watching, generational chains being broken, some family members lost the mom in the life, and they have a daughter and they were in the life, so it's about breaking those chains and coming together and providing, because when you get out of life, you feel like there's nothing. Now you're pretty much homeless. And so being able to provide these girls with the resources and a laptop and an iPad, that is so important, because our goals that we set with them, a lot of them are career goals, financial goals. And those things, you can't do it on your phone. Some of these girls have phones that are paid for by the state. They don't even have a camera sometimes, so it just doesn't work out. And it's important and crucial to see how much further in life they're able to go if you just give them the right tools and say, hey, this will help you on your path. And, by the way, congratulations for graduating. We throw a huge graduation. They get to invite their family members. We have like balloons, we have catering. Like, it's one of the most treasured things that I feel like being a part of GEMS is it's not just like you walk away with a certificate. We throw you a whole graduation party.
Mhm. I love hearing your story, Mariah, and thank you so much for sharing it, because you think that, normal everyday people, this doesn't happen to. You're like, oh, normal everyday people whose mom is working with Mary, who is doing everything in her power to help combat human trafficking and assist with human trafficking, and then by just a turn of events, you're trafficked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it just makes me feel so convicted to let people know, because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
It can happen to anyone. And you've got to prepare yourself. So, I mean, I know today our main goal is really to help bring awareness so we can raise funds for today, because we only have one day for this specific goal. And but I know you can give anytime. But I'd love to hear from Mary. Mary, just kind of share with us what's on your heart regarding everything that you're doing with Gems Uncovered, specifically what the initiative is today, and your involvement in Mariah's story.
Yes. It's the whole program is to give these young ladies a new beginning, to let them know that there are people who care about them, that society sees them as human beings and not what, the names of bad names that they're thought of. They're only out there because they want to. They're out there on the streets because somebody is forcing them to do that. When these individuals come out of the streets and out of the life, we're offering them mental health, job opportunities, education, tattoo removal. We also provide them with legal services to help them. So it's not allowing them to feel like, what do I do? I have nothing left. Where do I go? I have all this. We want to give them hope.
Mm-hmm.
And giving them this hope with regards to people they don't even know have purchased for them an iPad so that they can go to school, so they can have a job opportunity, so they can meet their mental health provider and get the resources that they need. To me, it's really overwhelming. It's so small to some of us, but to another individual, it's everything. And their gratitude is beyond measure to see their faces light up when they say, someone gave this to me, someone bought this for me. Yes, yes, for you. When we have the graduation ceremony, some of these young ladies haven't graduated from anything. Some of them have been in the life since they were 12. When they come to us, they're like anywhere between 19 to 26 years old. And so they've been in the life for a long time. And so it's getting them to become what God intended them to be. And that's to be chosen. That's for them to be feel as though they are everything, and they are. Gems Uncovered, God gave me a scripture for this organization. And I'm just going to share it if I may. And it comes from Zechariah 9:16. And it says, on that day, the Lord their God will rescue his people, just as a shepherd rescues his sheep. They will sparkle in his land like gems in a crown. And so that's the scripture God gave with regard to this. And so we want each of these young ladies that the Lord entrusts us with to shine just like a gem. Let them know that they are cared for, that there are people who see them and value them, that they are something.
I love that, Mary, because that's exactly where we are in our reading and Wake Up in the Word. We just did
incredible.
1 through 7 today. We'll be doing 8 and 10 tomorrow. But that's the thing, is we all need to be rescued.
Mhm.
And we might, there's all of us are in different places where we need to be rescued, and we're all the same. And our journeys are different, but we're all the same, and we have to help one another. And I just think it's incredible what Gems Uncovered is doing. I think it's incredible, Mariah, what you have done. There are so many people that, I mean, I don't know if they would be giving back in the manner in which you are doing. So, there's a real specialness in you to be able to do that. How beautiful that is, because I mean, I would think, gosh, that's so powerful to know. What I'm going through. You've been where I've been. You understand completely, and that's important for many people to have that type of authentic connection, and you can only have that when you've experienced the same thing.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
feel it with the girls, they'll give us calls at, 7 o'clock at night. Just, I just need a vent. This is what's happening. I need a vent. I have no one to talk to. And you can at some point just makes such a difference just to be someone's ears, just to be able to have them someone to talk to, or give advice that's not really of what their friend circle is, and that's really important to have and be able to lean on, to have that type of guidance of, okay, I can call it, let me call Mariah and just see if what I'm thinking is correct, and it's about, really learning how to restructure your thoughts and your brain pattern. Do you know why it's called the game?
No.
Because it is a game.
Yeah.
When I first came to GEMS and I sat around a table of girls and I was taking the classes, it was crazy because I thought to myself, oh my God, am I going to get in trouble? Because this girl sounds like did she have the same trafficker? Because it's all the same. And it really is. There's books out there that are teaching our young gentlemen on how to really, as they quote on it, perfect the art. And it's really, it's disgusting to see what is being fed, and you can't really understand the magnitude of it until you do and listen to people's stories and how similar they sound, and how things work in the life. It is really just like a monopoly, it's going around that game board, and until you see the traits and the patterns, and that's what's going to make the difference of you saying, okay, I think my friend or my loved one might be being trafficked. These are the signs. They're all the red flags. They're there. So there's a guide to being trafficked and a guide to realizing the signs of who is being trafficked.
What are some of the signs?
Alienation, when you're not allowed to speak to anybody, not even your mom, your friends, no one. When you see tattoos, which is the brandings of different traffickers. If they've never really gotten their nails done or hair done or anything, couldn't really afford that in their life, they're all of a sudden have all their nails done, their hair's done, they're walking different, they're talking different. I was trained that the slower you walk and when you drag your foot, it looks more appealing sexually. And so, if those types of things, is her attitude different? I was only 100 and I think 26 pounds, and I was put on a diet immediately. And it's those types of things that especially in our teenage girls that are going to school, that you wouldn't even think that they are being trafficked. You just don't want to really think about any young girl being trafficked. But if you start noticing the signs, like, hey, she's coming to school with her hair done and her nails done. Oh, she has a cell phone now, or she has a different phone. She's talking to this group of people when she never was. I see her getting picked up by this person. There's so many signs to look out for, especially if the child is in a foster care situation, that the child is more likely to be preyed on, because they're more vulnerable. They're in that position, and it's sad to say, we got to look out for our kids, especially in any aspect. My mom was a single mom. She was already struggling. We had already gotten cut off of county income, and during when she was in coma, Mary White and my church actually were helping pay for the rent because we were getting eviction notices and she was in coma. And so there's so many different things that you can notice, little red flags, here, does she have more sway in her hips? Is she talking to a group of people before she wouldn't really talk to?
Makeup is different. Clothing is different. The clothing that she wore previously was not as risque as the clothing she's wearing now. So it's a change in attitude, behavior. If you're seeing a calm, quiet girl, and now you see this girl now she's dressed up to the nines, dressing a little more risque, skipping school, coming home late, grades are failing, there's something happening.
And when Mariah, when you came back, were able to get out on your own by the grace of God. God was with you. That's how that happened.
Yeah.
Mary, how did you know? Just because of your experience, God gave you that feeling something has happened to Mariah?
Absolutely. I mean, just from the stories of what happened, how she was here, now she's gone, and how she's, traveled. We learned that she's now out of state in Las Vegas, getting her back, how God orchestrated everything to get her back here. And so, when they're leaving the life, they need to have mental health to uh, to deal with what they've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And with Mariah, it's just we were new at what we were doing when Mariah this experience happened to her. So
Mm-hmm.
God was teaching us the things that we needed to do. So it's taking her under, our wing, making sure that she's taken care of, that she has what she needs to. And then later on, we learned, years when we actually started our program, redirection program, um, God brought her in because these young ladies were, Myra, who's the program director, her and I haven't walked that same walk. We,
Yeah.
we may be survivors of something else, but we're not survivors of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was bringing someone who could speak the language, that understood well what was happening, so that they were relatable, so that
Yeah.
they could and feel comfortable sharing what they needed to share. And Mariah was that tool, that piece, that much needed resource asset that was needed to help these young ladies. And um, she, by her being there, she increased the attendance by at least 50%, because now they could reach out to someone who, now she understands what I'm going through. She understands, hey, I'm having trouble with the trafficker, can you help me? Mariah is, our survivor advocate and mentor, as well as our case manager for the women that we serve. And she does an amazing job with ensuring that, these the needs the women have are met, and that they're cared for, and they're not forgotten.
That's wonderful. That is so wonderful. Well, I know today we're raising, the goal is 5,000 today, but I also know that if people want to help in a more substantial way, whether it's a one-time donation to Gems Uncovered, or I would assume you do monthly donations, auto donations, um, please, leave a comment in the comment box. We will definitely make sure that we have the link. I think Karina has put the link all over our Wake Up in the Word page. We'll also put it in the link of this broadcast, so everybody has it, whether they're watching on YouTube or Facebook, or you're giving this through a friend. And I know that we're going to be working really diligently today to help get this goal of $5,000. But Karina, I would just love to hear, before we close up, your thoughts on all of this, because you've got such a beautiful heart, and it's because of you that we're involved in this.
Well, I met Mary because I was just really honored that God put me in a position where my job was basically to go in the community and not only build community, but to discover who's working in the community, like actually working. Sometimes I would get something across my desk that would say that, this organization, serves 500 students. And I'd walk into the lobby of the organization and it was crickets. And so I could be like, okay, check. They're not doing their job, but they have a very sleek website and a good PR person. Then I walk into Mary's and you immediately know that the work is being done. I mean, the women who are receiving these tools, they're going through a 12-week program. I mean, what Mariah has said that they've all been through, besides unlearning something that has been so detrimental in their lives, balancing a new life on top of that, maybe reacquainting themselves with family members that they have been alienated from, add a child, add someone that could harm them, And when I say harm them, beat them to death or whatever, else awful things these people can do to them. They get through this program with love, prayers, resources, a support system, this amazing caregiver. And we know Mary and Myra are just such wonderful, beautiful human beings. Everyone embracing them to see them to the finish line. And it's such a small token on our part to help them with that laptop. We take for granted what we could all do on our phone. But if you really have to apply for a job or housing or get your medical, you know how hard that is. So it's just a little piece to the puzzle of what God has mastered us all in our ability to do. I started this Dave Ramsey financial class. It's a 10-week course. And I love it because the first and foremost thing is housing and tithing, and it doesn't matter where you cut your budget. You can't cut your budget and you don't cut tithing in this Every Dollar Spent app that I learned last night. And we've talked about it, Jens, that, we want to do so much more. And it's not just about giving money, but it's really about giving from our hearts. And I can say that in testimony that I know Mary does give in her heart, and everyone she assembles in this is because God has helped her assemble them, no doubt.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much, ladies. Mariah,
And
you
can I
wanted
just
to...
piggyback off that? Sorry.
Yes, of course.
And we're not, we are a 12-week program, but now we also have our alumni program, because what we found is once the girls graduate, they're like, can we re-enroll? We're not done. So we started an alumni program to add on, which is the next level. And, we're teaching them other aspects like budgeting and, important things like renter's insurance and stuff like that, adulting basically, while still being we call ourselves like a little sorority group, and we do things all year long with them. For Easter, when they have their kids, we would open up the drop-in center and we would have an Easter egg hunt with the kids and supply the kids Easter baskets, because a lot of them, the kids never had an Easter basket. For Thanksgiving, we get donations and we are able to provide them with a full Thanksgiving dinner, a turkey, everything, all the 9 yards, that they're able to have and be able to provide a Thanksgiving dinner. For Christmas, we like to do a little shop where we have the girls come in and we have new clothes that are donated from boutiques that are all sizes. Because, we all come in all different sizes. And so not only do the moms get to shop, because normally when you're thinking of Christmas and giving back, it's more like a toy drive for the kids and stuff. And the girls, they tend to get overlooked, so we make sure they also get something and the kids get, gifts as well. Those are just the things that we do all year long. So I encourage, not only just today, but if you want to keep up with us, go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter. You'll find it on our website at gemsuncovered.org, and you can just, stay in the present with us.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, see what I mean? Look at God go. That's Mary's saying, look at God go, because that's what I was able to do, is just look for organizations that were really doing the work that they claimed that they were doing. And now just hearing what Mariah said, it's just all the
So
more.
you said your website is gemsuncovered.com or .org?
.org.
.org. Okay. All righty. I'm going to put that up. So, oops. Hello. I'm going to get that up. And, anything else anybody wants to say? Because I'm like, we got to get this podcast out and get people giving. we got to start working. Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody who, your prayers, your $1, $2, it doesn't matter. It's all going to add up. It's all going to add up. And like I said, our goal is to have 20 iPads that we'll be able to give to the forthcoming graduates, so that they are equipped to reach their goals. So be a part of allowing them and helping them to reach higher.
I love it. Thank you so much. We couldn't say any better. Hey, Karina, you want to end us in prayer?
Yes. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing us together to learn about how we can contribute to Gems Uncovered and how we could help touch other people's lives with our hearts and with our donations and with our good intentions. We are all assembled before you to serve you and to love on each other. And this is such a beautiful opportunity that you show us that you are bigger than all our problems. You are bigger than all our questions in life. You have the answers, and we just have to open our hearts as much as we listen with our ears to hear your word. And thank you, dear Lord, for Jen Johnson, for this beautiful platform that she's expanding for us today. It's just so beautiful.
Yes.
And for Mariah to share her story, I mean, just to be able to contribute so much of her experience in life. Her hardships are now just gifts to the women that she works with. And Mary is just such a force in all of our lives and such a beautiful, beautiful daughter. And for me, an inspiration, a true inspiration. And thank you, God. We ask that you just let us see the world as you see it, so we could do your will. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. Thank you so much to all you beautiful ladies and for everybody that is going to give today and ongoing. We just cannot thank you enough for your time, for your effort, for everything that you do. So until we meet again tomorrow morning at our normal time, 6:30 a.m. Central, be big, be bold, and most importantly, be you. We love you all. Bye-bye. Mwah.